Hey Clashers, this new strategy is completely broken right now in the game because it's taking advantage of the new troop, the Thrower. It has great range, solid hit points, and solid damage. This in combination with an army which keeps it alive and makes sure that it can deal the damage which it needs is just completely breaking the game right now. I will show you exactly how to utilize that, what equipments to run, so let's dive in. And you're playing this strategy pretty much the exact same way as you would play Super Bowlers. Only exception, you don't have Super Bowlers because you're replacing the 30 housing space troop with the Throwers, which have only 16 housing space. On top of that, well, you can add way more supportive troops because it's having less housing space. The really clutch thing for ground attacks right now is the removal of the explosion of the Town Hall, which means you are way more flexible on where you can enter. The most important thing though about this strategy is the warden equipment, and this might be confusing. We are running the double gem, the life gem and the rage gem, and you can see already why in the first couple of seconds of this attack. First off, both of those equipments are going to give you bonus damage, passive damage to your warden, which means your warden walks are super quick. On top of that, it makes sure that the throwers are even more tanky. It's going to give them around 870 hit points, which is pushing them to nearly 3,000 hit points, which is insane. On top of that, with the rage gem, is always make sure that everything is staying alive, but the most strongest thing is just, take a look at this. They have the same range as the warden, which means because the healers are a splash healing troop, they're just healing everything. Take a look at this. The warden is as well in the same range as soon as they're stacking up on each other again as this, and they're getting healed back up. Do you see? With the warden back to full life. It is just crazy. On top of that, the range of the thrower is making sure that you can even reach buildings which the base builders try to put out of range of the archer queen. The thrower has a bigger range than the queen, and with that you can reach pretty much everything. The entire base is just gone. Equipments for the other hero, we're using the classic combination for the Barbarian King. You can use the Gauntlet with the Earthquake Boots or the Spiky Bow with the Earthquake Boots, both works. Archer Queen, this is by far the best. Mirror and Healer Puppet. Warden, as we just said, both gems under the Roy Champion, Spear and Hog Rider Puppet, or you can go Hog Rider Puppet with the Haste Vial. Both works great, both are amazing. But this attack is completely overpowering because take a look at this. So many throwers are alive, they are just not going down. Now people might say, iTzu, isn't it better to bring maybe the Eternal Tome and use the Apprentice Warden than instead, because Apprentice Warden still gives you bonus hit points? Well, there is a really important problem with this, and that problem is the range. Since the Thrower has such a great range, the Apprentice Warden is always staying in front of it, and this means the Apprentice Warden is going down way too quick. Now you might say, iTzu, that's just an example, okay? In reality, this would not happen. So let's play the same attack, but with the Apprentice Warden. And the first negative thing, in my opinion, is that with this Warden equipment, we have only one equipment which is giving the Warden passive damage boost. Which means, well, the Warden walks take way longer. On top of that, now let's take a closer look at how the Apprentice Warden is going to walk. Because take a look at this. The Warden is always a little bit further behind than the Throwers, and the Apprentice Warden is always a little bit further in front. Yes, it's really hard to track where the Apprentice Warden is, but you can tell on where, like how long he's alive because of the smaller range Eternal Warden aura. You can see this aura right here in front of the real Warden, and it's going down any second, and it's gone. So I would need to use my Eternal Tome ability to keep the support troop alive, which is not what I want to do. I don't want to do it. And you have just seen the life gem is working completely fine to keep your troops alive. Now you might say, iTzu, that base is really bad. So let's just do this attack versus different bases. Let's do it. As well, keep that in mind that I'm doing those attacks versus all maxed out bases. Because after an update right away, obviously the bases are not maxed out. Because not everyone is gemming their villages. This is why I'm doing those attacks versus maxed out bases, to really to be able to prove to you that this strategy is broken, and it's not just like I don't know, like stomping some bases which are completely rushed Town Hall 17s, okay? This is consistently completely smashing fully maxed out Town Hall 17s, and it's not even close. The most important thing as well is where the new explosion is, the new Giga Bomb. Because remember, it is not anymore in the Town Hall. So the Town Hall at this point for this type of smash attack it's just a regular defense because you have the healers, you have the recovery of hit points. So what we're doing instead, we're going to try to get behind the town hall and have the queen funnel this side. Because this is where the Giga Bomb is. This is what we could have possibly used our warden ability because there might be too much burst damage to keep our throwers alive. But what we're doing instead, we're pushing behind that town hall to avoid this bomb. And it's always visible. This is the key thing. We could have as well, for example, done a warden walk right here and pushed right into the town hall. The town hall, as I said, is just a regular building at this point. A strong defense, don't get me wrong, but for ground attacks, especially those which are using healers and have tanking in front, it's just another defense. Now with pushing behind, we have taken advantage of our tanking with the titans and everything, and now the warden's getting targeted. Oh no, this is the moment where we have to make sure the warden's staying alive. And again, because of the splash heating of the healers, the warden is alive again. Again, at this point, freezes, invisibility spell, or even the skeleton spell all have to be utilized to keep your throwers alive whenever the tanking is not there. And this is what we're doing, and this is again what is working, because take a look at that. We have we have like 5 out of those 4 out of those possible 6 throwers which we have started with still alive, because they're always so grouped up and always on top of the warden that the splash healing of the healers is just keeping them alive non-stop. Well, queen alive, royal champ alive. What can you tell about this? It is just smashing bases, and Eternal Tome is just not needed. Don't use it, because the explosion of the Town Hall is gone, the Town Hall poison is gone, and the Eternal Tome at this point anymore is not as mandatory as you would think. For other strategies, by the way, as well. But let's just move forward. I will show you more strategies, because this right now is really turning into one of my favorite strategies. So, let's do it. And this is supposed to be another example on how you can as well take advantage of one of the strongest defense right now in the game, which in my opinion, the Fire Spitter. This thing is just scary. It's really scary, especially if a Rage Tower is close by. And because typically a lot of people would just assume, again, you're just going far side, in here, just push towards the Town Hall, everything, you will be fine. This might work, but you don't have to. You can just go into the Town Hall again, and this is just such a big advantage. As well, by the way, I'm running the Lizard on the Warden because it feels like it gives you a little bit more DPS, but for the Warden walk, I'm not really sure if there's an optimal pet. Let me know what you prefer the most. Frosty could work, even Diggy could work if you want to, so there's a lot of options what you could go for, but for us, I think I like the Lizard quite a bit. We're now going to push into this compartment. Again, Ice Golem first, then we're having the King, the Titans, everything, Wall Break in here, then Jump, then Earthquake Boost, and the entire base is open. This might be then the moment where you might think, okay, everything is going to spread, the healing of the healers is not going to be that great, so let's just wait for that if it's actually going to be that case. And remember, every single thrower is having nearly 3,000 hit points because of this life gem. And on top of that, the healers are always under rage because of the rage gem. Just this combination is crazy. As well, one of the biggest counters to the throwers are spring traps. That will be really interesting. I might see that people are going to bring spring traps in locations close to walls where they like to always walk along. But I guess time will tell if that's actually going to be a counter or not. Right now, I'm running even into the giant explosion, but because the healing is just keeping everything alive again. As well, the active warden ability, if you have a double gem equipment, is actually, with the active ability, only recovering like 200 hit points or something. So not really much, but hey, whenever your warden is in danger, just press it and you have some more hit points on it. Otherwise, this base, no big surprise, yet again, is crushed. But don't get me wrong, this strategy, if you compare it to the Mass Root Rider attack back from Town Hall 16, is not comparable whatsoever. It is way harder to execute because you have you need a proper understanding of funneling, where to warden walk, how to keep your throwers together so the healing is just so effective. Because as soon as they're spreading out, they're going down quite quick. So you have to make sure that they're staying together. You need to understand how funneling works, and this is where it's way, way harder to execute than the Root Riders, which might be a good thing. So for everyone who thinks like, okay, I might be not the best ground attacker. For me, ground troops are always walking everywhere. Don't worry, I have a video for you as well. I have released yesterday the easiest and best strategy as well with the dragons and dragon riders. So if you're looking forward to that, make sure that you're giving that video a watch. And the link, the strategy link for this strategy is down below in the description as well. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. And as always, I will see you guys back tomorrow for the next one. Until then, see ya and bye-bye.